to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. I'm going to be live in about 40 minutes, but I want to get another quick video up before I went live, recapping some of the things that happened yesterday at the Combine and recapping one of the things that happened today at the Combine in terms of the media. Obviously, I'm trying to get media clips from all the top-tier prospects that the New York Giants could potentially draft, and Jeff Okudah is certainly one of those individuals. As much as a lot of New York Giants fans may not want to believe it, I definitely think he's a possibility if the Lions do trade down or do, in fact, take a quarterback at number 3. If the Lions do not take a quarterback and do not trade down and stay there, I think they will take Okudah because I do think he fits exactly what they're trying to do. But I think he's a slam dunk prospect. He's a can't miss prospect. And even though it may not be our biggest need, and even though we've spent a lot of our resources at that position already, I could see the New York Giants taking Okudah because he's too good to pass up, and they're still weak at that position. Yes, they have guys with potential talent, but it has not been proven yet. So Okudah is certainly a possibility. We'll jump into one of the things that he said that I thought was really a really prepared response. And I think it shows you, how witty he is and how smart he was. He knew he was going to be asked this question, and he came back with a really great quote, and I was shocked. I did not know this stat about Okudah, but it was really impressive. I also want to talk about the quarterback position. Love and Press yesterday, but the real guy I had my eye on was Justin Herbert. Now, of course, we're not taking a quarterback, but obviously, if we're looking to trade down, we want these quarterbacks to do as good as possible because we want as many teams potentially interested in them as humanly possible. Now, of course, Burrow did not take place in the drills, and neither did Tua due to his injury. Burrow sat out. I mean, let's be honest. The reason he sat out is the same reason Sam Darnold sat out. It's the same reason Chase Young sat out this year. By most experts, they're the consensus number one player at their position. They look at it like, and their agents look at it like, they could only hurt their draft stock. So they don't want to go out there and do anything that may jeopardize that. Now, am I in favor of that? No. I always like players that want to go out there and compete. It's one of the things that I really respected about Baker Mayfield on draft day. He went out there, he gave it his all. He didn't care, and he even said he wanted to be a competitor. I think that's what drew the Browns to him. But I still think Burrow will be going number 1 overall to the Bengals. But we wanted Herbert to go out there and put on a show, and I don't know if a show is the right terminology, and I didn't get to watch it as well as I would have liked, so I went back, watched all the clips on YouTube about her, regarding Herbert's combine, and he had a very impressive combine. He ran a really good 40 time, which we expected. I think he was second or third at the quarterback position. Pretty much every test, he was either second, third, or first, and his deep ball is where he really stood out. He had a sloppy throw early on. I think it was his first throw. Probably a little bit nervous, but then he showed confidence. He was laughing about it, and he pretty much threw bullets the rest of the way. And we'll get into what some of the experts had to say about Herbert's performance. But, of course, the better he did, the better it is for the New York Giants because more teams could be potentially interested in trading up for his services, which will only help the New York Giants draft stock, as I think it's becoming more and more likely from everything we're hearing that the New York Giants are at least open to the possibility of trading down. But let's jump into some of the quotes from yesterday regarding the performance of Herbert, and then I'll talk about what Okudah had to say today. Here's Herbert. During the on-field testing portion of the Combine, Herbert ran a 4.68 40-yard dash time, the third fastest time overall for quarterbacks at the event. Not something that should really surprise us. This guy is a supreme athlete. He's over 6'6". He could throw the ball deep, and he's fast. He's kind of similar to Josh Allen, only has more, credible stats going into it. But he has all the tools you would want in a quarterback. Additionally, Herbert posted a 35.5-inch vertical leap, which was second best, a 123-inch broad jump, which was third best, and 7.06 on the three-cone drill, the fastest of any quarterback this week. And like I said, and I think it's about to say, the deep throws is where he really stood out. And when you listen to the broadcast, that's what they really harped on. Well, the Combine is on the air. Herbert was one of the standouts on social media, especially with this clip below of the quarterback throwing deep routes. And then they showed the video of him throwing the deep routes. And it was pretty much consistent. He was dropping it in the bucket every time, leading his receivers. So hopefully teams saw what Herbert had yesterday, and they say, okay, I could see us having this guy as our starting quarterback, and hopefully it could only help the New York Giants draft stock in terms of trading down. And then I wanted to touch on briefly about what Jeff Okudah said. And this was a very smart and prepared response from Jeff Okudah. You could tell he came into the Combine ready for this question. He knew he was going to be asked it, and he did a great job combating it. And this is a really crazy stat. And, later said in the article, backed up that this is true. During Friday's media day with the defensive backs, a reporter told Ohio State's Jeff Okudah that he had a tendency to get kind of sloppy. He then responded, sloppy in what way? The 6'1", 205-pound cornerback responded calmly, yet still ready to pounce. Penalties and stuff like that, the questioner managed to spit out. I had 0 pass interferences, 0 holdings. So cut the tape on the game, Okudah said. I think you might see something else. And then, like I said, it later went on to back up that was a true statement. In his this year, the entire course of the season, he had no holding penalties and no penalties whatsoever, which is insane. And Okudah is an incredibly talented cornerback. He has everything that you want. He's tall, he's fast, he's physical. It's why he's projected to be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. And it's why I would not be shocked at all if the New York Giants take him. Obviously, I keep saying, they've spent a lot of time trying to fix that secondary. And Okudah might be the guy. And I certainly think if the Lions pass on him, whether it's a trade or a quarterback, he will probably be the number 1 player on the board. Whether or not the New York Giants feel like it's the biggest need, that's something to be discussed. But, Okudah, by most people's standards, is the 3rd best overall player in this year's draft. And he plays a position of extreme importance. I think a lot of people, and I'm probably going to have a video on this later, explaining my theory behind it. But I think a lot of people, the pass rush is incredibly important. I'm still one of those people that still thinks the pass rush is the most important thing on a defense. But covering the wide receivers is damn near close, especially in today's game when the quarterbacks are getting the ball out in 2 seconds. You have to be able to guard that slot. You have to be able to guard the tight end. You have to be able to make the quarterback go to a 2nd and 3rd read. And Okudah would be able to probably do that. I think he'd be at worst, a top cornerback in this league. I'm not saying all pro. You would hope he would be that if you're drafting him that early. But he would certainly help the defense. I would not be upset at all if the Giants decide to go with Jeff Okudah. I just thought it was a great response, and he was very well prepared. And we'll see what he does at the Combine when he goes through the drills. But as always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.